Welcome back to Educator Diaries. I'm Chantel.
Hi, I'm Maria.
And this is episode 11. So, the impact that technology has on children. How good is technology for your child? So, today we're actually also joined by a special guest host. This is Chanel. She's joined us in the studio today. Chanel is Maria's youngest daughter. Welcome, Chanel.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Chanel.
Hi, Mama.
Well, so today I thought we'd just chat about the positive and negative impacts of technology and the impact that it has on children, and as well as helping parents and educators with some helpful tips and to reduce screen time for their kids.
Yeah, because screen time is, I suppose that's the guidance that we can go off with how long children should be looking at screens or interacting with technology as well. So, but wow, things have changed over the years.
Yes.
There's been some great lifesavers as parents, but I guess we're also here to look at the things that have brought about positive impacts, and with those positive impacts, I guess there's some negative influences in there as well.
100%,
So,
yeah.
Okay, before we start, let's have a look at some statistics that they've done some research. So what are some things that we've come across?
yeah, so the Australian Child Health Poll actually states that at least 50% of toddlers and preschoolers use screen-based devices on their own, and the reason given by parents is they use it to occupy their children so they can get things done.
I think that's spot on.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. That's what we've all done, haven't we, really? Which we've all been there. Like, we're not here to sit there and boo-hoo everyone, because
no.
this is life and this is the new world and age that we're living in.
I mean, for our kids, and Chanel, I mean, when you were young, you didn't have a laptop or a phone,
No, it was the
portable DVD players.
and DS. That's
Oh,
how
the
it was.
DS.
Yes,
Oh,
I love the DS.
I actually love the DS too. And that, so, but things have changed, and that's why now, if we want to go back even further, like my kids think it's hilarious when we used to say, we had the good old Commodore 64, and let me tell you, it used to take an hour to load a game onto that thing.
The 80s.
Yeah, back in the 80s, and so we'd have to sit there and wait for this technology, for the game to load. Then you get to play the game, and then if you wanted to change the game, it would take like nearly another hour for it to load. So we didn't have technology at our fingertips like these guys do. So,
Yeah. But like, no judgment here, but according to the Australian government, they recommend that children under 2 should have 0 hours. But you know what? I agree. Like, really, why would a child be sitting there with a device under 2?
yeah, and you know what? When I heard about this, I thought back to when Paris was a baby, and the only thing that, obviously she didn't have a device or anything like that, but admittedly I had this DVD that I used to put on, and it was a Mozart DVD, and it had Mozart music playing with Van Gogh things in the background, because, hey, I thought my kid was going to be a genius.
Well, she is.
So, but that would actually, I know it sounds really bad, it actually would occupy her, because I'd be like, okay, she's just on this play mat with toys and all the rest of it, and this music but the screen was playing, but it would have different artworks that would, and then every now and then there was this little puppet that would pop up and go Pippo, and, it would actually keep her occupied. And looking back now, I'm thinking that's probably not great. Because if you're looking at the screen time, like they said, under 2s is 0, and then it's an hour a day for 2 to 5s of screen time, and that hour goes fast.
But that's not happening.
No.
100% not.
No.
So,
I think the difference between when you did it with Paris, with the Mozart, like, classical music is known to actually enhance little kids and even kids with intellectual needs. So it wasn't actually a negative thing doing that.
No, but those things were out there to help, I guess, like entertain, if we're looking at the entertainment part, and that's what parents are doing now with screen time. They're giving their kids these phones or these iPads with apps and things like that on there to hopefully enhance educational purposes. A lot of the times, 90% of the time, it's probably an educational app that they're using, and so as a parent you go, I'm helping my child, I'm going to make them a genius and what have you. But the report also highlighted that almost 94% of teenagers owned a mobile, and 67% of primary kids and 36% of preschoolers also had their own mobile phones.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think
36% of preschoolers.
Preschoolers had, which I understand parents want to be able to track their children or get in contact with them, whether they be teenagers or when they're at school. But I don't think preschoolers need a mobile phone.
No, not at all. You've got to watch for that. You know, or you put a tracker in their bag or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of a mobile phone.
Well,
I didn't get my first phone till I was in year 8.
Yeah.
No. If I had to go on Instagram, I would go on Mum's phone, and that was the rule.
Yeah, I just don't understand why preschoolers need a mobile. Is it because that parents, when they're out and their kids want their phone, like I remember before my children had mobile phones, they would take my phone to play games on.
Exactly.
And then it'd end up all crusty and it was gross. So are these parents giving their kids mobiles so they don't take their own phones? Is that what it is?
No, you know what I think it is? I think it's because the children are demanding it, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Or they've got older siblings. Right?
True, yeah.
And they're saying, this is what I want. And throwing a hissy fit or their little tantrums, which they do at the age between 2 and 5. And you know what's happening with this generation? The parents are going, okay.
It's easier. Yeah.
But this is not helping them.
No.
But also, you know, other kids at school having other phones and you being the one that's left out without a phone.
Well, that's probably in primary school, but preschool? Like when I've had at the preschool,
no.
Yeah. Like,
no, that's ridiculous. I'm still not getting over that.
Yeah, I'm still not over the
Preschool?
preschoolers. Yeah.
Oh, well, let's not even go down preschool way because lots of things are happening in preschools, you know, with changes and things like that, that all of a sudden we want these little 3 to 5 year olds to be grown up to be, you know, make decisions and make, you know, having this responsibility of having a phone.
Yeah,
you know?
Because, you know, like, okay, so let's talk about the negative parts. You know, because we'll get to the positive because, you know, we want to end on, you know, a high note type thing. But there are a lot of negative impacts that technology has brought into our homes as well.
Oh, my home too.
Yeah. So I know even with my kids, like, so family conflict is a really big thing. So I don't know how many times I've said to my kids, you know what, dinner time. No, I'm just finishing a game.
Yep.
Just wait, hang on a tick. You know, like, and then you're like going, if you don't come down, you know, if you don't come down here now, look out, type thing. So
yeah, no, it's the same. Same with me calling them, you know. But when I go to them, where are they? On their phones. Oblivious to what's happening around. There could be a bomb that's happening outside. The ceilings could be collapsing. But wait,
let me
I'm
finish
on
the
my
game.
phone.
Yeah, let me finish my game.
Finish my game.
Stop
or let
calling
me
us
finish.
out, Mum. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No.
But they do say that that's also increased. There's been an increase in what they call oppositional behaviour, like disorders and things like that, because I think it's, you know, and that's what they have said in this report as well, that has, like, the technology and screen time has, they think has,
Well, I'll give you an example with Jaden. When he was probably about 9, and because I had a rule in place that from Monday till Friday afternoon, there was no Xbox. Back then it was PlayStation.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was no PlayStation, no any of that sort of, you know, well, back then there was just portable DVD players, but, you know, we watched the movie all together as such. But so I had that rule in place. So it was the weekend and he was playing on his PlayStation. Back then the cords were connected to, you know, not
no
this
Bluetooth
wireless,
or
no
whatever.
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And
very
anyway,
old.
so he went out to go and play because I only gave him an hour, like these hour slots that I'd give him that he could play. And so I went outside and I'd said to him, you know, I called him back in to go pack away. I didn't care that he was going back a few hours later, but I wanted him to pack away all those cords that are on the ground and his games. And he gave me a little bit of attitude, which is what we call oppositional behaviour. And he said to me, I said to him, right, go and pack away all your stuff. And he said to me, I'll make me. So just like that, it's because his brain had been on that PlayStation, right? He was still in that mode.
They get, like, angry. Like, it's like an angry,
So I said to him, make you. Okay, I'll make you. So then I went in, I grabbed his what do you call it?
Remotes.
The remotes. Came out with a pair of scissors. I stood there. He looked at me and he goes, oh, Mum. Or straight away, then he was focusing, wasn't he? I got those scissors. My mother said to me, you're not going to do that, are you? And I said, watch me, right? And I said, oh, make me. Is that what you said, Jaden? Make me. And I went, snip. I cut up his cords. Because back then you'd have to go and get another controller.
Set. There's no just reattaching cords.
No. So, he lost it for 3 months. 3 months until he earned it to go back. Now, he learned his lesson really hard, but at the same time, that's why I kept on instilling, I think it was up to probably year 11, maybe year 11, 12, that I allowed him.
Like boundaries with it.
Yeah. That he could have it during the week.
Yeah.
You know, because by then you hope by adults they make their decisions of what's affecting them, whatnot. But totally, and it was just that split, whatever, the time from playing inside to going outside, how his brain was consumed. And it probably was a Spider-Man game or something. It was something, a game that was quite, child-friendly for that age of, being 9
It doesn't
years
matter. You
old.
sort of kind of get wrapped up in it. I even do the same thing myself. Like, I honestly, I play Rummy Cup, and that's live. It's a live game.
What do you play, Miss Chantal?
Rummy Cup.
Rummy Cup, what's that? I've never heard
It's
of
like
that.
a tile card game type thing. So, but you play against other players, and it's live.
Oh, wow.
So if I cut the game, I'm letting them down, like people in the game.
Oh, my
Yeah, I know.
no.
See, but this is what gets to you. So, so I get it, but I don't get it. At the end of the day, if someone's calling you or that, get your head out of the phone type thing, and
No, I think TikTok is such a dangerous road. It's really bad. I think I've caught myself maybe scrolling on there for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, you go
And I
down the rabbit
"Stop.
hole. Yes.
Stop,
Yep.
Chanel. Get off and actually have a social life. And but even when I get off, my head is like, it's somewhere else. It's my eyes are really sore and I feel tired.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
does
like-
drain you.
Yeah, it does.
And I think the thing with TikTok that I found for myself, because, hey, I do love TikTok as well, is that what happens, and this is the one thing that is worrying for children coming through now, is like even for me as an adult, if I'm not satisfied or if that TikTok hasn't grabbed me within the first 5 seconds,
I know,
bang,
your
scroll,
attention span is
scroll,
gone.
Scroll. If it's, and I'll be sitting there going, oh no, this is boring, bang. So is that going to happen to these children with their attention spans? Are they going to
Of course.
want instant gratification all the time of something entertaining at their fingertips? Because it's the same now. Like if you go in and you're waiting for an appointment, what do? You pick up your phone.
Exactly.
You don't just sit there and go, oh, let me have a look outside. Let
I know,
me,
even when like you're waiting for the bus or the train, you
Yep.
go on your phone. If you actually look at everyone and actually look up, you can actually see everyone on their phone,
Yeah.
head down.
Yep.
And
Because it becomes a bit of a social thing as well, in the sense that if you're just sitting there, you almost feel like I'm lost. Do I look like an idiot? I'm just sitting here.
Yes.
What am I going to do? I need to look like I'm occupied. I need to look like I'm busy. So I'm just not
But
sitting
even
there.
even now, like I get frustrated, and and I let the kids know if we're having dinner at the table, and all of a sudden, someone picks up their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mum has a rule: no phone at the
Oh
table.
my gosh!
Yes.
It does my head
It's
in.
rude. It
It's
is
very
rude.
rude.
Yeah.
No, off.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got visitors at the table and
Yeah.
you're sitting down.
You
there's no
know,
need.
I think I rang Lincoln once, and I just rang him up for something, and he's like, "I'm having dinner. I can't talk right now." So that's there's morals of don't even
Yeah.
look at your phone or even step away from your.
Yeah, he's actually really good. Like he'll say to me, "Give me your phone." I go, "Why?" He goes, "I'm gonna check out how like your screen time's been this week." And I'm like, because he went through a whole thing where he shut down a lot of social media and
Yeah.
stuff like that because he said it's consuming me too
Yeah.
much, and that's pretty, I don't know, pretty mature
you
for
did
an
that.
18-year-old.
You did that.
I
for
think,
a while.
I did that too because even as a girl, I think what was it, a couple of years ago I did it. It's the body image even of looking at girls that
Oh, so
is living the
perfect.
life
Yeah,
that you're
yeah,
not living. And
yeah.
to be honest, actually,
They're probably not, but
they're
it's
not.
just
They're
the
not.
image.
It's the image and what they want to show.
Yeah.
Because
We need to get these kids up and moving. So lack of physical activity is a negative impact.
Well, that's a really big thing. I think they're saying for teenage boys. Teenage boys in that survey as well. It came out that it's more about them sitting on electronic games, not so much social media and things like that, but gaming, like gamers and stuff like that. That's where they're spending hours and hours, and that's where the obesity and the lack of physical exercise is coming in. And you know what? We're not here to bag technology and games because, hey, like I said, I love games and things like that, but it's all got to be in moderation,
Exactly.
and we've got to monitor it as parents. We've got to monitor what these children are doing, how long they're on it, because like I said, like you said, Chanel, you sit there and an hour's gone and I've just been flicking through TikTok.
I know.
So,
Like, it's so weird. If you were to meditate, it's longer. You feel like it's so long for 10 minutes, but scrolling on TikTok or Instagram
in
or
a blink,
something,
blink of an eye.
it's like 2 minutes.
Yep.
And you go, oh my God, an hour's gone past. It's scary. I go, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Chanel,
where did that go?
yeah, go do some work or something.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yep. No, I know.
But I think one big negative impact is that with all this technology, I think cyberbullying is a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 in 10 children, are reported to have experienced cyberbullying. I mean, back in the day when you left school to go home, you didn't have to.
Like, put up with anything. No.
No, they didn't. They didn't follow you into the home. You know, you just got home,
Yeah,
did
you
your thing, and
Take that phone off the hook and no one can contact you.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. But now it's like, I mean, now they've all got what do you call it? Internet anyway, access. So even travelling on the, like Chanel said, on the bus or the train, still from school,
Yeah.
continuing all the way home. Then they get home. What are they doing? Back on their laptops. You know,
But it's even the fact of that people can be anonymous with posting on things, like, and
I know.
you know, the horrible comments, like, you know, if you can't go to somebody and say that comment to their face, well, you shouldn't be saying it online either.
That's
like
exactly
some of
right.
the comments that people will say, even just about, you know, like footballers, for instance, you know, when I look at is a bit random, but like I follow Penrith Panthers and they get so much hate, and the amount of hate on there that is put on those pages, and I'm like, really? Like, would you actually go up to those players and would you say that to someone's face, what you're saying
Oh,
online?
definitely not.
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen if
Yeah,
you
that's right.
actually
Well,
said
yeah.
to them.
So, but I'm just saying that's a general term, and then people go, oh, well, they're celebrities, they put themselves out there for
Yeah.
that. But I just think at the end of the day, don't be a horrible person. Don't be horrible. Don't say those really bad things. And I think it's going back into those teenagers at school. Like, we didn't have that back in the day, and school was hard enough as it was. There was
No,
still
that's right.
bullies, there was still all that sort of stuff,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you could go home and not have to deal with it.
I think it's a parent's responsibility. Look, you've got your young children. Start now. Educate them in the safety
Yeah.
of using, because technology is speeding up by the minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got no control of that. It's happening. We've had to embrace it as, you know, back from our generation of not having anything to now having it all presented to us.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my kids pick up these devices. They know exactly what to do. I'm quite not computer savvy, and things just come to them naturally. And for the little ones, yes, it's great to introduce them to them, but give them those boundaries.
That's right. Because you
Educate
can't
them on the
yeah.
safety of it all.
Yeah, you can't stick your head in the sand and go, oh, my child's never going to have a
No.
mobile. They're
No,
not
no,
going to
no.
have a
I'm not
tablet,
saying
because
that.
No,
the
it's-
world will
no.
leave them by. And they, in today's world, they need to
No, you need a phone and you need technology to get around.
Yeah, so like you said, I think it comes back to education and safety. I know a lot of schools, I remember when the Paris and Lincoln were at school, there were those cyber safety seminars. Even in childcare centres, there's cyber safety seminar, like education that's out there for educators to help
Yeah, that's
children.
where it should start.
Yeah.
Because by the time they're in high school, how many times did they have guest speakers?
That's right.
Or they had the big seminars and they'd sit through it all. These kids were going through one ear and
Yeah.
out the other.
Yeah.
Were,
100%.
they were waiting to get out
Oh,
to go on their phone.
Yes.
I'm blaming myself, even though I have never bullied anyone. But when you're sitting in those seminars, when you're in high school, you want to get out and
Yeah.
you just don't want to sit there. And they try and make it as amazing and everything.
Entertaining.
But you're sitting
Yeah.
with a bunch of year 7s to 12s.
And you're like,
who
we
are-
really don't care.
we
No.
don't care.
Yeah.
But
even though it's happening within our grade.
But sitting
Well-
at home and listening to your mother saying to you, right,
You
these are
know,
the rules of
exactly.
having your phone, and your respect that you've got to have, you know, just respect in general, right? Because if you've got respect in general and treating others the way you want to be treated, and, you know, having that responsibility of having a phone or having,
Yeah.
you know, your laptop, that's when you talk to your kids. You don't
Yeah.
wait for those big seminars.
No,
know?
and getting back to safety as well. It's not just about the bullying and things like that. There's
No.
the scary stuff, that the contact that you're allowing other people to talk to your child in their bedroom. And again, TikTok. I've watched many of those things where it's been set up with
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretending to be like a 14-year-old girl,
And they go to the house
Yeah.
and they do all this thing.
and these guys are actually
so
literally
scary.
like these guys
disgusting,
are
actually.
husbands and fathers, and they are dead set seriously trying to meet up with these young girls
I
and things
know.
like that. And boys, it's not just a girls thing. It's like it's absolutely
I
it's
s-
freaky. It's
I
really
saw
scary.
one that was this guy who actually brought his son to this hotel to meet up with a 14-year-old boy and used his son as like an
As a bait.
alibi to meet with this little kid. How
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And I can't get over it. And
yeah, it is. It's actually really scary. And there's also, again, parents probably need to be aware that there's hidden apps on your phone that kids can actually hide things that looks like it might be a calculator.
Oh, yeah, the calculator thing.
Yeah, and so they're apps.
What's this?
They're like hidden apps. So, for instance, it could look like a calculator,
Right.
but it's actually a chat thing that you could be having with other people and stuff like that, or photos and stuff like that.
Well,
isn't it?
photos
Yeah.
mainly.
Yeah.
Like the calculator is actually your password to this app.
Yeah.
So you can go like 129 plus blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
because this, and it's actually the code.
My gosh.
Yeah,
You
so
know.
parents, if you look at their child's phone, you go, "Oh, there's nothing on my kid's phone. They're fine."
It's just a
but
calculator.
they could actually be
So,
hidden.
you-
There's
so you
these
actually,
apps.
so you actually download the free app.
Well, you download
Yeah, it's
that
a free
app,
app.
and it looks like it's disguised on the phone as something else.
Gosh.
It's not going to go, photos of, whatever, like a chat room or anything like that. So,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
You know.
See how disturbing
That's
this
what I'm
is?
saying. As parents, we need to be educated in these sort of things as well. So,
This is so disturbing to hear,
yeah.
And unfortunately, this is going to get worse unless we all take a stand and as parents take responsibility.
Well, that's just it, and I
You
think it's
know?
a time thing as well. Like that survey said, parents give their kids the technology to free up their own time, and that's fine. You might think, oh, they're only young, but these are the things that we're instilling in them from a young age. You've got to have those
Yeah.
boundaries from the get-go, and that so because
yeah.
even with sleep, like yourself, like they keep saying you shouldn't have your phone in your room. You shouldn't be
No.
looking at
Yeah,
your
it should
phone
be like
before
a
you go to
metre
bed.
away.
It should be a metre away from
Yeah.
from where you're
Because the
sleeping.
radiation.
Yeah, and it even it's well documented that the blue light, like interferes with your sleep and stuff like that. So, and they're saying that you shouldn't actually even look at a screen for at least an hour before you
yeah.
go to bed.
Yeah.
And this, when they were looking at these surveys, they were saying all the children were having sleep problems, which then led to behavioural problems and things like that as well. So, again, a lot of it's probably relating back to screens.
Yeah, I mean, I say there you go. I watch TV before I go off to sleep. So it's, it's probably 2 meters away from where I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
But
it's like you use it actually to get to sleep.
as
Some
like
people use that.
Yeah.
Some people actually, I know someone that puts their phone next to them and watches a movie to fall asleep.
Oh.
They
But
use
then I wonder if the sleep is really as sound as what
yeah.
it would be. I don't know.
It's like when some people use their phone as a distraction of having an anxiety attack and they have to go on it to actually distract them. I've used that before. If I'm in a place where, let's
feel
say
uncomfortable,
if
yep.
I'm at a dinner and I just have this rush of something, God knows what it is, it's like I have to go on my phone just to distract me instead of sitting there going, I'm okay,
Yeah.
nothing's hurting me, and
I'll
being
be
in the
fine.
present and not using my phone to distract me. And
Yeah.
it's horrible that you have to do that.
Well, they're even saying that social development, for those children. So sometimes I've had parents at the preschool say, "Oh, what do you mean their attention span? They can sit in front of a screen, or they can sit in front of the TV, or
how
they
many
can sit on
times-
my iPad for an hour, no problems at all, without moving." But they don't understand that child is getting that that constant of keeping them engaged. Like
Engaged,
the screen's
that's right.
changing to keep that attention there. So
And the minute that stops, then all of a sudden, behaviours start happening
That's
because
right.
they get frustrated.
Yeah.
They're bored. I'm bored.
it's that instant gratification all
Yep,
that time.
I'm wanting
like we're
that
saying.
attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about when kids, let's say they're on an iPad, their attention span is so fixated on the iPad. But to watch a movie is like a mission. Some people can't watch a movie more
Yeah.
than 10 minutes. They
Yeah.
have to get up and go do something. Or that's what I was like when I was a kid. I could only watch it for 10 minutes and then go play, then come back to the movie.
But it wasn't because you had social media.
No,
like,
it wasn't that. It was because I just wanted to go play and I
Yeah.
just got lost interest in it. I can watch a movie now, but I know some people my age
They can't.
cannot sit and watch a movie. And they just go, I'm too, and
Yeah.
I need to get up and do something. And I don't know if it's their phone, but just little kids in general, they
Well, you
can't
just wonder
watch
if
a movie.
that's right. Is that going to be filtrating through as they they move on, and that. But like I said, it's not all negative, and that there's been so many
Oh, no, there's
positive,
positives to it.
lots of positive things. But I think COVID probably highlighted the positiveness of a
Oh
lot
my
of the
gosh,
technology.
yes.
Like it really kept
You know.
us in contact with people, and it highlighted, like I know at the preschool that a lot of the children that were staying at home, we were able to do video calls with them to engage with those children and read a story to them, like a story time through the iPad and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and look at how many schools they went into to online learning.
that's right. Yeah.
that changed the whole.
I think it did it. But this is the problem. Like, don't get me wrong, there's so much positive, but I think that this is going to something that we can't really go back from either. We're going to have to learn to live with it and embrace the positive parts of it by understanding the negative.
For example, like Chanel, she was schooled and then she decided to do some homeschooling because playing tennis.
Yeah.
And but
Best
you know
thing
what?
ever.
That was the best thing ever, and that was online learning.
That was online learning. I would
Like a distance learning.
Yeah, no one could pay me to go back to school. Not
Yeah.
because I hated sitting in a classroom. I don't know. School was
It wasn't your best learning style, I
no,
guess.
it wasn't. I think I was more independent. I didn't really need that visual. You know, some people need that visual, which is totally fine. You know, your preference. But online learning was amazing, and the teachers were so involved with you. I feel like the teachers in online learning were actually one-on-one with you.
More present,
Yeah,
of
more
knowing.
present.
Yeah.
And knowing your style of
Following up.
writing or your math, and, you know, in the classroom, you've got 30 kids.
And more following up and making sure that you were
Oh,
doing
yes,
your
every
assessments.
week.
Where in class, not done,
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
fail.
Well, I think it also, like the whole technology part obviously helps with those children that don't have access to schools, like distance learning, like those rural communities and things like that as well. And even like just even the whole communication that it has helped us connect to the world.
Well, back in the days, you know, back in the the middle of the bush, it was the radio?
Yeah, yeah. They still
Just
had
only
their
through radio.
which I suppose is an old
And
school.
we used to laugh thinking, oh my gosh, that's pretty primitive, but hey, guess what?
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty resourceful doing an online learning, and
That's right.
you know,
Whereas now they can just see more of that face-to-face stuff rather than through.
how many universities now do online courses?
Yeah, yeah.
Not many kids are doing face-to-face learning.
No,
you know.
no. But at least like with the technology, that if you need to access that, you know, at face, like even again through COVID, the amount of people that were able to FaceTime relatives overseas or even down the road when you weren't allowed to go and visit people and stuff. So I think, you know, that's been a massive positive thing about everyone still able to work from home or just still communicate with people. Like again, don't get me wrong, like social media, I know it has its negative impacts, but for me, there's so many people that I've stayed connected to from high school that if I didn't have them on Facebook, I probably wouldn't see them. And I maybe don't see them now, but I would feel comfortable that if I bump into them down the street now, I'll go, hey, hi, how are you? Whereas if it's been over 20, 30 years or something, I may have not been, said hello or felt comfortable. Whereas now I go, oh, there's such and such. Oh, yeah, how are the kids going that I've never met? But, you know, I've seen them on Facebook.
I've got a friend in England, they're twins, Kira and Oscar. Hi, everyone. And me and Oscar were so close in primary school, and then he had to move to England. And obviously I didn't have a phone when I was a kid, and I never got in contact. And like only a few years later, when I got my phone, now we check up on each other. And, you know, he's coming next year to Australia, and we want to see each other because...
Otherwise you would have lost that friendship forever.
I would have lost that friendship.
Definitely.
Even though, yes, Mum and his mum, Kelly, are still in contact. But even having that conversation between Oscar and Kira of... what's been happening with our lives and everything has been great to have that.
I mean, I joined Facebook pretty late. I know you guys were all on Facebook. And I remember joining Facebook, and I think, oh my gosh, was it 10? Oh, I joined it pretty late. And at the time when I joined it, you were all talking about Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
And I said, what is this Game of Thrones, this obsession? And I suppose that connection of seeing, like, even you and Helen, you were all talking about Game of Thrones and, you know, the hot guy in Game of Thrones. And I was
Jon
thinking,
Snow, right?
Yeah, Jon Snow.
and even, like, for that, and I remember that distinctly going, okay.
I'll check this out now, yeah. That's a bit like the Netflix
And let me tell you,
one that I look at.
I missed out. Oh, my gosh. Because, you know, I love Game of Thrones, but I'm thinking... like just that connection,
Yeah,
and
all those fan pages and things like that.
Positive thing. I know that's a positive thing, but
then that actually helps people who are interested in other things, like anime. People get in connection with other people who like anime.
Yeah,
or
those social groups that are on there as well.
Social groups.
Yeah.
I mean, even Educator Diaries that you can download off, you know, Facebook and stuff. So,
but I think I see it every day working with children with special needs. That there are certain devices like their Prolo Code to Go, which is a device that helps them communicate.
Yeah.
that's amazing how that sort of software enables them. I've got one little girl who's amazing on it. She just, whizzes around and tells what she wants and how she's feeling. Or
I know. Zoe's amazing. The way she just gets through that, I look at it and I go, what is happening?
And again, a lot of children with additional needs, sometimes that's their frustration when they can't communicate. So that technology, those iPads, those apps that have allowed them to open a whole new world for them as well.
Yes.
So, you know.
'Cause they've got a voice, and it's got to be heard, but it's done through this device. And so I think in those circumstances, that's a positive.
100%.
It's a positive thing to
Yeah.
see. But,
and even just the whole wider range of educational resources. Like back in the day, like I remember saying to my kids something about an encyclopedia and like, what's that? Like it was the Britannica that you had to buy and you had to sit it there in your house if you can afford it. You were rich if you had that set.
of course,
but,
of course. We had them.
But, but now you can access, like, everything's on Google and it's not...
I know.
Yeah.
When they were doing all their assignments, and I would say to them, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Just press in the Google bar exactly what you want to know.
That's
Because
right.
I had to sit through pages, thin pages, and I wasn't allowed to write in them.
Yeah.
Thin pages of encyclopedias to find out, I don't know, something trivial.
Or you had the project cards.
Yeah,
You remember
project
you
cards, the news agent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
used to have everything on, say, Egypt, and you cut out the pictures and you could stick it on and
Now you write Egypt and on the laptop, bang.
Yeah, and back in the day you could plagiarise because they didn't have an app to catch you on that as well.
That's exactly right.
But even now, like kids again through COVID, I remember we used to type in and every day at 10 o'clock or something, we could see the animals being fed at the zoo because the children couldn't go to the zoo. But even now, you can go on a virtual trip anywhere in the world. If you can't afford to go to Egypt, well, guess what? You just get on there and you can go and see all those things. So it's really opened up the world as we know it, I think. And again, there is so many positive ways that it's been used as well.
There is.
Yeah, me and Mum walk through Italy and Greece all the time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just can't have a coffee and
Sometimes through France if we want a croissant.
Yeah. Well, not only that. Well, even the other day, I was talking to Paris. We were on our way into Penrith, and something came up about phones, and I said, "Oh, I had a car phone. That was the bomb back in the day." And
you had the car phones.
Yeah, I had a car phone. That was when they first come out.
Was it fancy?
Yeah, it was very fancy. I felt very fancy.
What, you could pick up the phone like that?
Yeah. That was like because again, Mum and Dad put it in our cars.
It's such an 80s thing, the car phone.
And I googled it and I showed her a picture of it, and she's like, "Oh my God, I said, actually, I thought I was the bomb. Like it was very cool." And but she goes, "Well, what happened when you weren't in the car?" I go, "Well, tough. You couldn't ring it. Like you'd have to be in the car to make a phone call or to get a phone call." I said before mobiles. I said, but if you'd go to the shops, I said you don't understand. Like now you go to the shops. Number one, I know where you are. I can ring you and go, "Hey, can you pick up?"
Yeah.
Some milk or
I was
something.
having that conversation with Mum. Like, what if you said, "Oh, I need sausages," but they've gone to Woolworths already?
Tough
Like,
luck. No, you have to wait to come home and go, guess what? You're going back to Woolies. And that. So it saved us so many times and that. But not only that, even with, I don't know about you, but I've got like the Life 360.
No, I have that.
She has it on me.
Yeah, I have it on both my kids.
I don't mind it. It's okay. I don't
really. The other two are just like, it's okay, Mum, I'm fine. No, I know you're fine, but I need to know. I need to see that you're fine. But
that's like I said to Paris, I said, if not, I'm calling you. I said, this way I'm not calling you because I know that you're on your way home from the city, or I know that,
Yeah, no, it's
and I can see that you've not speedy.
I think it's such a better direction of doing that because, when I'm out going clubbing or something, I can't really talk to Mum.
No,
in
but
the club.
she knows that you're there.
Yeah, she knows I'm there. She knows what floor I'm on or who I'm with.
You're safe.
So I'm fine.
That's it. That's all I need to know is that she's safe, going from A to B, and that's okay. It's peace of mind.
That's right.
But I think that comes down to the actual connection with the parent as well. Some kids don't want to know where.
True. Well, let me tell you, it does work in the reverse because I remember coming home because we've got an alert on there and coming in and Paris going, Lincoln's been, this is when he was younger, Lincoln's been on that game. He's only just got off because he knew that you were coming home because the Life 360 binged at him or something like that. So it can be used in reverse as well. So, but that has, that's a big thing for us in our family, the Life 360. Like I said, you know, my kids are old enough, I go, I'm not stopping you from doing anything. I just want to know to make sure that you're safe, especially if Paris is coming home from the city and I know that I've got to pick her up off a party bus or something, that I know what time I've got to meet her there, because 9 times out of 10, you know, like, or I can see that her battery's low and that's the reason why, you know, Paris is out of battery, that I can't get hold of her and stuff.
I mean, one thing that's a positive thing, which going back years ago, I suppose when the kids were young, and I used to see the online, you know, the television where you can shop, you know, late at night.
Yes, yeah.
I used to think, why are people up looking at these things and buying things? Why would you do that? Yeah.
Is that you?
Well, no, I like doing online shopping. Amazon. You know,
yep.
the online shopping.
You mean like those,
but those
get your
programs.
lip balm,
Yeah.
if you buy one.
But back then that was huge, and that's the introduction of online, you
Yeah.
know, shopping. How convenient is that now?
Yeah,
You
true.
And I was talking to Mum the other day. It was so funny. You know, back in your day, you had the phones that used to have, you know.
Yeah, the old school phone.
Yeah,
The dial. The wall phones.
And I was like, Mum, what if someone came into your house late at night and you needed to call the police, right? Those things aren't quiet.
No.
What if you're going to be like, hold
on.
just stay,
No,
just let me call 000, and then you can proceed to do what you wanted to do when you're coming into my house.
Well, the worst thing was that in Australia, the zero
Was the last one.
So you had to wait for it to come back around. Yeah. But then we got button phones, so, you know, like that changed the world.
Yes.
All right, little tips on how to reduce your child's screen time. Okay, well, even I think a lot of this stuff is a bit of common sense. Try and leave the TV off during the day. I know sometimes we like to have background noise going all the time to
Put
make
some
us
music
feel.
on.
Yeah, use music as a substitute for that.
Yeah, that's right. So
Also, too, having setting some rules in place for screen time during the week when children go off to school.
Yeah, that's right.
Because between homework, they come home from school, you know, unpacking, having they need that little bit of, you know, winding down time.
Well, if they've got that expectation of knowing this is when I can have it, that's okay. I'm allowed at this time, but okay, mum or dad have set those boundaries already.
It works well, people, because it worked well for me. It will work if you put it in place and you you know, and you're consistent with it.
Yeah, and even they say try and have dinner at the dinner table without the TV on, like to just promote that, you know, conversations between the family and stuff like that. Try not to have TVs or devices in the bedroom as well, which yeah.
Why are you looking at me? You're the one with the TV
that's the next thing. Lead by example, people.
I've been watching. You know what I've been watching lately? What? Oh my god, it's the reruns of The Love Boat.
Oh my god,
I love The Love Boat. Oh my gosh.
When was the last time you watched The Love Boat?
No, a long time ago.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty. Yeah, I actually have heard a few things about The Love Boat from back in the day. It's a bit. Some of it's a little bit inappropriate as far as like you know how the social cues of things now.
I know. Yeah, I think back. I think
very
gosh,
sexist
I used
or something.
To watch that. That's sexist. I know. I know. But you know, it's good. I'm thinking about going on a cruise. You know, I'm thinking maybe.
You might meet.
Maybe she'll meet the captain.
I'm going to sit at the captain's table. I don't know if that happens.
I don't know if my vertigo will take off, but you know.
Well, lead by example. You know, like if you're on your phone, your kids will be as well. I have to say, I've been told a few times, get off your phone, mum. So
I mean, look, you can keep your children occupied. Like, especially when I used to go out to dinner with the kids, I used to have a little bag or a little. They used to have their little tin.
Yes, I had a princess one. I remember mine. Yeah.
And in there, before we left home, I'd say, okay, fill it up with things that you want to play with.
Like puzzles and
colouring in books or whatever it is, you know. And
that was so much fun. And you know, when you go out and you found a flower or something, you just put it in there and it was fun.
And at the same time, we did have the little DS. Was it the DS?
Oh, yes, DS was
Jade had the little Nintendo hand switch.
Yeah, I think sometimes as parents, you just want, you know.
So it's called Playboy?
Game Boy.
Game Boy. I was like, Playboy doesn't sound right. No,
I don't think Jaden had Playboy, but yeah.
I'm so sorry,
No. Oh, too funny. Too funny. But yeah, like I think sometimes as parents, you just want to sit down and have like 5 minutes to chat to your partner or something like that. But you know, at the end of the day, you have those conversations. Yeah. Try and keep family time as some family time as well. So and use it in a positive way, not the
I think we spoke about this on our was it the school readiness? We were talking about children with pincer grip. You know, them being so lazy because they use the muscle control in their fingers. Yeah. As the years have gone on, you've seen that they've less children.
Is there a iPad pen? Because you know.
They do have stylists, but a lot of them is just touching,
Yeah.
tapping. You know,
That's
tapping the
even
screen.
worse.
And that's what we're saying. I mean, we talked about that being there, not having a firm pincer grip because of the poor muscle control in their actual index finger.
Oh, that's right,
And holding
yeah.
on. So, like, I mean, provide more activities where children are using, less time of doing touch screen.
Like at
activities.
restaurants, do they still have the colouring books?
Yeah, sometimes, you can get that.
I know, I remember Outback Steakhouse.
But you do see a lot of the times when you're out for dinner, the kids are sitting on the iPads and stuff. So, but again, if that's the case, then if you just want 5 minutes, set
But
those
then you know
limits.
what? You say, right, before we leave home, we don't have iPad time. Let's save it for when we go out for dinner because that's when we want the iPad time.
Yeah. Well, I remember saying to my kids, all right, you can have that on. As soon as the food hits the table, they're gone and it's family time.
Yeah.
Because it just sometimes would give Brent and I time to have a bit of a chat and then be like, okay, now it's like family time type thing. So
how do you think you would cope, Chanel, if you had this, like the technology that you've got now? I'm a bit older than you, Chantel, but I just had nothing compared to what you guys have got now. How would you feel if they cut off phones, laptops?
I would love it, actually.
You would love it?
I think I would love it.
Back to the raw people.
But do you know what's so funny is when you have a blackout.
I could be a hypocrite. And I remember we said blackout.
Yeah, but the time, like the time would go like so far, like, you know what I mean? It would like the nights you'd be going, wow, like the hours taking forever type thing.
Yeah, when we had a blackout and then we couldn't watch TV because I didn't have a phone at the time because I haven't had a blackout for years.
Yeah.
But we would play and we'd play board games and it was so much fun.
Yeah, and you got so much time.
I
Like you'd be
know.
surprised
And
at how long those hours went for, like 2 hours.
Yeah, and when you're catching up with friends, it's, we do spend that time on the phone and that's fine. We could just be sitting with each other and that's okay to go on your phone. But actually not going on your phone and doing stuff and going out, that would be so much fun. I feel like when Mum talks about the 80s.
You make more connections.
Yeah, the 80s and the 90s, it sounds so much fun compared to
we
me
did
as
a lot.
a teenager.
There was a lot more. Even though these kids look like they're socialising, but they're not really socialising.
No, it's a different, like
different
you get on
social.
your bikes.
Like going to the bowling, just going bowling was so much fun.
We
It's
made
such
it.
A big
We
thing.
made a big, a big thing of it. I mean, like,
Or you'd walk just to your friend's place. You'd have to walk to her house because you couldn't. Half the time she didn't answer a phone. If no one answered the house phone, you'd have to walk up the street, knock on the door. Can I play with such and such? No, she's not here. Okay, and then you'd walk back home. So rather than like now, just ring you on the mobile. You home? No, I'm not. Okay, like so there was lots of street activities and things like that.
The only thing I couldn't cope with is music. I would need music
You didn't want to wait till Sunday night to hear the top 40 and then have to record it?
and watch countdowns.
Watch my cassettes.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you'd have to sit there and make your own demo tapes and stuff.
No,
So.
if I could have access to music, I would be totally fine. I would live.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's there's negative and positive impacts on technology, but I think
we've got to embrace it, but you've also got to be smart with it. Set those boundaries. That's the key.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, well, let's wrap this up, and thanks everyone for
thanks
listening.
Chanel for coming in.
Oh, good. Sorry about the
darling.
Playboy.
That's all right. All right, you take care. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll speak to you next time.
All right, ciao, ciao.
Bye.